Good morning. Welcome to Tree of Life Unitarian Universalist Congregation online service. My name is Chelsea Berger, using she, her pronouns, your worship leader this morning. Here are this week's announcements. Our annual meeting will be held today following the service, so you are encouraged to remain here in the Zoom room once we wrap up. We will reconvene at 11 a.m. to begin the meeting. Anyone is invited to attend, but per our bylaws, only members are eligible to vote. If you're unsure of your membership status, contact the office. Please note that you must attend the online meeting to receive the ballot and be eligible to vote. Next week, our service will be held on location at Woodstock Pride. Please plan to join us there for a brief service at 10:30 at our parade float. The parade starts at 11 a.m. Tree of Life's booth will be open from noon to 5 p.m. The festival includes multiple special events and family-friendly celebrations for the LGBTQA plus community. We are in need of volunteers to bring treats for coffee hour on Sunday, June 21st and June 28th. Please get in touch with Beth Hoover to sign up. Our speaker this morning is Alan Shear, who serves as our Worship Arts Committee. Now, let us share greetings with everyone online this morning. If you wish, you may turn on your cameras. You may go to the gallery view at the top of your screen. And we will be closing out our PowerPoint. There we are. Sharing community wherever we might be. Thank you all. We welcome all who are new to Tree of Life. We hope you will find our visitors card posted in the chat. We invite everyone to join us after the service for our annual meeting, and we welcome everyone who has joined us this morning.
Welcome to this service where we challenge the idea of our separateness, even though we are away. Whatever the path that has brought you here, let us pause a while together. Whatever the load you carry, let us rest a while together. Whatever the disappointments that hover about, let us breathe gently a while together. May our hearts be open to accept what comes to us as a stranger. May our minds be open to wonder at what we do not understand. May our spirits be nourished by our time here together. May this worship service strengthen us before we again take up our lives and continue upon our path. I will now light our chalice. If you have a chalice at home, you may do the same. We light our chalice in the spirit of values that we share. We honor the interdependent web of all existence. With reverence for the great web of life and with humility, we acknowledge our place in it. We celebrate what we are, all sacred beings, diverse in culture, experience, and theology. We work to be diverse, multicultural, beloved communities where all thrive. We adapt to a changing world. We covenant to collectively transform and grow spiritually and ethically. We cultivate a spirit of gratitude and hope. Our generosity connects us to one another in relationships of interdependence and mutuality. We covenant to use our time, wisdom, attention, and money to build and sustain fully accessible and inclusive communities. We declare that every person has the right to flourish with inherent dignity and worthiness.
Please join in recalling our mission statement. At Tree of Life,
Tree of Life, UUC,
UUC, we nurture
we
a
nurture a
community
community that
that
welcomes diversity,
welcomes diversity, supports the spiritual growth of its members, and acts to create a more just society. The sharing of joys and concerns is a sacred moment. To help us grow in community, we invite you to share a few short sentences about your joy or concern. If you'd like to share a joy or concern, please put your name in the chat or use the raise hand icon in the participants tab at the top or bottom of your screen. When called upon, please unmute yourself and share your joy or concern.
This is Ted Fun, he, him pronouns. Just announced on the news recently that the U.S. military chaplaincy is being reorganized and eliminating the vast majority of smaller, diverse faith communities, including the Unitarian Universalists. I would like to share a concern that the search for faith is not just in the big denominations. Thank you.
We also have a joy here in the chat from Adana, whose joy is that everybody made it to Pine Ridge safely. Julie?
I'd like to share joy in that some of the garden seeds that I'd given up on ended up germinating late and flourishing. So I'm joyful about that. And I am trying to be patient. I shared with some people that I have a variety of things going wrong in my house, including outlet that sparked and made me really think about having a fuse box and needing that replaced. And I thought, well, I could get a solar system. And I thought it would be easy. Well, like the seeds that I had to wait for, I think I'm going to have to wait for the best way forward on that idea.
We have another joy in the chat from Beth Hoover. 10 years ago today, the Tree of Life course left from O'Hare to Transylvania. It was a trip of a lifetime. If there's anyone else who would like to share a joy and concern, please raise your hand now or put it in the chat. The compassion and trust of our beloved community flows from each of us. Each of our joys and concerns, spoken and unspoken, are embraced in this mutual love and respect of our beloved community.
When I look at our calendar of events, there are so many great things that are happening. For example, next week, Pride. And also, then we have a solstice uh, celebration on the 20th. It's Saturday at 7 p.m. And it's going to at a lovely spot just off the parking lot in Ridgefield. The Indivisible is having their demonstration on Sunday from 3 to 5. So it kind of overlaps the Pride Festival. As you know, I'm on occasion provide the service of marshal at these demonstrations. And basically, I'm a glorified crossing guard, but I take my responsibilities as a crossing guard very seriously. Um, so one day at an earlier demonstration, I'm standing there with a member of the McHenry law enforcement team, and the cars are going by and they're honking their horns and they're yelling things out the window. Then a car goes by, and I just looked at what was happening in the car and the posters, and they were on our side in some way. And I looked at it, and it just I didn't even think about it. I said, "Well, that was weird." And I turned to the law enforcement guy and I said, "You've probably seen some weird things in your career, haven't you?" And without missing a beat, he said, "Yes, I have." One time before I came to McHenry, I was, doing my radar thing, and I saw this car go by. This wasn't speeding, but in the front seat, there was a pig. And I said, I got to know what's going on. I don't know if there's going to be if this is a violation of any law or anything, but got to know. So the cop tells me, he says, I went up and put on my lights, pulled the guy over, and I come up to the car. And before I could even say anything, the driver of the car turns to me and he says, "What am I going to do? I'm driving down the interstate and there's this pig in the median." And I said, I just couldn't leave it there. I had to, pick it up and take it. So I put it in the seat and I, strapped it in, and you caught me. And the cop says, "Well, you're not really breaking any laws that I can think of, but there's an animal rescue place about two uh, exits up. I suggest you go there." And he says, driver says, "That's a good idea." So the cop tells me a couple days later he's doing his thing. Only this time he's on a regular road, and he sees this guy go by, and the pig is still in the car. And he said, "Okay, this is just too much. I got to figure out what's going on with this guy." So I pulled him over again, the cop tells me. And I said to the guy, "Didn't I tell you about the animal rescue farm, shelter place?" And the guy says to me, he says, "Yes, we went, and we had such a good time that this afternoon we're going to go to a baseball game." That story has nothing to do with my sermon. Uh, it's just a great story. And it, of course, isn't true either. But what I do want to talk about is lists. Lists are everywhere. The administration is suggesting a citizens list. Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Music have lists that tell you what you listen to most of the year, which songs and artists are most popular, list of best books of the year or ever, lists of best movies, lists of best TV shows, best cookbooks, lists, lists, lists. There are countless lists of best of everything that you could ever think of. Another list, which I find particularly amusing, is a bucket list. Now, bucket lists aren't just for old people anymore. They can be applied to anyone that wants to make a list of things that they'd like to do before they kick the bucket. And the kicking the bucket is relative now, because there is a 30 by 30 bucket list where you make a list of things that you want to do before you turn the age of 30. By the way, the origins of the expression "kick the bucket" are lost in the mists of time. Nobody knows where it came from, but everybody seems to, at least in American culture, knows what it means. One of the origin story theories that I ran across had to do with an old Roman Catholic custom of placing a bucket of holy water brought from the church by the priest and placed between two candles at the feet of the body laid out prior to burial for the purpose of anybody coming by wanting to sprinkle the body as a form of blessing. Kick the bucket, who knows? We know what it means, not where it came from. Anyway, bucket lists appear to have a life goal scorecard of any age. Like I said, the 30 by 30. It's a competition. For the under 30 crowd, get it done by the age 30 bucket. It is a measure of success. Doing all 30 by the age of 30 brings, of course, bragging rights, but also it is thought happiness. I've done everything that I wanted to do. Of course, there could be other bucket lists after that one. What is it about making lists and then grading them? It's not just list making, it's the grading, the rating, the best of, the top, the bottom, with the best of lists. That's the thing which is, to me, something I'd like to talk about this morning. Success is thought to come from completing all the items on the list. And success, it is thought, makes you happy, or so they think. As a longtime bird watcher, I know all about life lists. Birders' life lists are serious business. They even made a feature film about it one time. You go around the world spending lots of money on excursions to remote places so that you can, hopefully, see the bird that you have not yet seen, check it off the list. And the more birds you check off, the higher up the list you get. I only have 100 more to go. I only have 50 more to go. I've done them all. Brag, brag, brag. The more birds, the higher up the list. But as we know, bragging rights is a kind of a shallow source of being happy. Don't get me wrong. For me, to-do lists are essential. I've been making to-do lists all my life. I have been known to add a completed task to my to-do list just so that I can then have the satisfaction. I forgot to write it down, put it down, bid it, and then scratch it off. A little satisfaction. But not every list has to be graded. The best of household chores? I don't think so. It is the activity itself on the list that is supposed to benefit the list maker, cleaning the toilet or visiting Grand Canyon, whatever your list includes. Like a funny t-shirt a friend of mine wore yesterday that said, I haven't been everywhere, but it's on my list. Universalists try not to be like the kind of Santa Claus who makes a list of naughty and nice children and then rewards them accordingly. Being happy arises out of our worldview attitude. Being happy is not just a feeling, but a way of being in the world, an outlook, an attitude, a spiritual discipline. Our lives are not ranked except by us. Any grade given is imposed by us or accepted by us. Where imposed low grades can become a source of frustration. I know this because I barely got out of high school. Low grades were my worldview. And I always thought, that before ADHD was invented, I was just in the stupid group. But I learned that there was other reasons for my low grades. Still, it is neither avoidable or wrong to make lists, to have preferences, even favorites. But like any excess, too much grading too often can impede being happy. It's not the lists themselves, but rather it always becoming the best of the competition. This grading distorts the way of seeing our lives because we're grading our lives and experiences. So Arthur C. Brooks remarked in an article in the Atlantic magazine about the rather common practice in society of ranking items on the list. Keeping score is essential to competitive sports, he says, but he warned that when this practice infiltrates our lives, it dilutes our being happy. Scoring life events seems to make life a kind of competitive sport. In such a worldview, few are winners, as we know. And so, by definition, everyone else is a loser. Suffering loss and heartbreak does not make one a loser. Making a fortune or gaining notoriety are not prerequisites for being happy. These ideas, I think, universalist ideas, inviting us to live our virtues, knowing that neither God nor Santa are keeping score. Brooks goes on to say, we have every evolutionary reason to want to keep score in life. Passing on genes is competitive business, after all. There is no evidence that Mother Nature gives two hoots, though, whether we are happy or not. And in fact, this kind of scorekeeping is a happiness error for two reasons. It makes us dependent on external rewards, and it sets us up for dissatisfaction, end quote. But there is hope. Unitarian Universalism offers a good place to start without grades, but it is a list. It's a list that we provide of 6 values. In McHenry, some 15 years ago, the Haystacks restaurant was transformed into the Tree of Life Unitarian Universalist Church, whose building was shared with a variety of groups over the years. Now in Richfield, we share the Presbyterian Church building with them and with our friends and neighbors, the McHenry County Jewish congregation. In our new place, our Tree of Life friends have joined us in Ridgefield. Some former members have returned. And visitors who came back. I love that. That is so great. Our order of worship, which is essentially, literally, a list of what is supposed to happen during our worship service, is essentially the same. A few things have moved around, a little bit of wording is different. Here at Tree of Life Ridgefield, this is what we are committed to doing, to providing our beloved community, members, and friends with an opportunity to experience the sacred, socialize with friends, share in ministry, and feel secure here amidst sincerity and authenticity. A pretty nice list, if I say so myself. Practical things, technical, scheduling the building, these are small kinds of issues in our new building about who's going to be where and when. We can work these out in a practical manner. But our Sunday morning worship experience will be mostly what we bring to it. The Tree of Life worship experience depends more on the attitude of the worshiper than the place, I think. Not a bad place. Can rearrange the chairs. We got tables now, and I think really a better view out the windows of the forest across the way. Brooks, in his article, says again, further, you will like your job less if your primary motivation is prestige. You will appreciate your relationships less if you choose your friends and partners based on their social standing. You will relish your vacation less if you choose the destination for how it will look on social media, end quote. Being online this morning gives us an opportunity to consider what we think or feel about our new church building. Of course, we want to make things better, but it is also true that we find the sacred wherever we are, either here or elsewhere, because we bring it. Because we embody the sacred, it arises wherever we are. Feeling the sacred can be experienced anywhere because it arrives when we arrive. We create the sacred by showing up with our values and virtue, with our love and compassion. It will take some time before the strangeness we might feel at Ridgefield fades, but it will soon enough, remembering always that wherever we are, there the sacred is also. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Each week, as we worship, we welcome the offerings that support the work of community. Many of us have already given our monetary gifts electronically. Still, we set aside this time for the spiritual practice of gratitude. Participants may give their offering in one of two ways that are listed on the screen. If you are new to Tree of Life, please let this giving opportunity pass you by. Your presence here is your gift to us. We give thanks for these gifts and for all the gifts you share. Let us now extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame of communal worship and now carry its light within us. We share this light and carry its warmth to all whom we meet.
Our closing blessing. We are doing good work here. We are doing the best we can, following the decisions we have made. We decide in the light of our illuminated chalice, showing how best to live our values. We live our values with one another, and our good work ripples out into our community. Go in peace.